Okay, so first of all, I welcome all of you in this lecture. So, good morning to everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, please let me know. Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so in my previous lecture, we have already understand this result. That is nothing but this theorem. The name of this theorem is nothing but the density theorem. In my previous lecture, I have already explained this statement to you. Now, do you have any confusion inside this statement of this theorem? Then please let me know. Do you have any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay. Now let's focus why we are calling this theorem as the density theorem. Okay, now all of you are having physics, right? So what do we mean by density?
Mass upon volume.
Mass upon volume.
Mass upon volume. See, don't tell me the formula for it. Tell me the general meaning of density. See, further if you will study, then you will know in
Sir,
integration.
concentration.
Okay, in integration you will having a different formula for density, slightly different. Okay, but let me not go in that. Okay, so let us focus on this word. What is the dictionary meaning of this word dense?
Something which is thick.
Something which is thick. Okay, what else? See, in terms of population, what do we mean by the population is dense? Yes, Unnati, you said something which is thick. Now, what do we mean by a population is dense? See, as our college is in Vasai, so let me give you an example of Vasai. See, if I told you that the population of Vasai is dense, what it means?
So it means there are lots of people in Vasai. ज़्यादा लोग हैं उधर.
So, can I frame this statement in that way? That is, in this way, that is, wherever you go in Vasai, you will find people. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what do we mean by dense? आप कहीं पर भी जाओ वसई में आपको ऑलवेज पीपल मिलेंगे. अब आप इसे अप्लाई करो ऑन द सेट ऑफ रियल नंबर. The name is density theorem and this statement tells me what? Between any two distinct real numbers, there exists a rational number. Means what? Wherever you go on real line, you will always find a rational number between any two distinct real number. That's why we are having the name of this theorem as density theorem, because this set of rational number is dense in R. Is it clear?
Yes.
Which means what? Wherever you travel on real line, you will always get a rational number. In fact, we have already studied R is nothing but the union of rational as well as irrational. That is Q union Q complement. Okay, so wherever you go on real line, you will always find rationals, in fact, infinitely rationals as well as infinitely irrational numbers. Okay, so this is the statement of this theorem. That's why we are calling this statement as a density theorem. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we are in the position to deal with the proof of this theorem. Remember, we need to pick two distinct real numbers. Okay, we need to pick two distinct real numbers. So let me call it as x. So let x and y be two distinct real numbers. Okay, distinct. Okay, now I am assuming that x and y be any two distinct real number, which means what? One of them is smaller than other. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So without loss of generality, I am saying that x is smaller than y. Okay, so if x is smaller than y, then using this, what can I say about y minus x?
Y minus x is not equal to 0.
This is not equals to 0, or I can say that you can say something more. This is bigger than 0. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
What you can do is you just add minus x throughout this inequality. So on the left hand side we are having x minus x, which is 0, and on the right hand side we are having y minus x. So if y minus x is bigger than 0, then what we can say about 1 upon y minus x?
Bigger than 0.
This number is also bigger than 0. Okay, now this is the real number which is bigger than 0. So which property we are going to apply now? Yes. Yes, which property we are going to apply?
Archimedean property.
Archimedean property. What it says? Yes, what is the statement of Archimedean property?
For every real number, there exists a natural number which is greater than that real number.
Exactly. Okay, so this is our real number. So by Archimedean property, there exists a natural number such that my natural number is always bigger than that real number. यहाँ तक क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now do the cross multiplication. So on the left hand side, we are having n into y minus x, which is bigger than 1. Now apply distributivity. So here I am having n into y minus n into x, which is bigger than 1. Now shift this nx on the right hand side. Okay, actually it is not shifting, you are adding n plus x on both the sides. Okay, this I have explained you so many times in this same chapter. Okay, now let's focus on this right hand side. What we know about number 1? Can I say 1 belongs to real number?
Yes, sir.
What about nx? See, we have already chosen this x to be a real number and we are multiplying that real number with the natural number. Then what can I say about their product?
Real number.
this is again a real number because real number is closed under multiplication. Okay, so here we are applying the property of real number. Then what can I say about 1 plus nx? 1 is
Real
real
number.
number. Nx is also real number. So by addition property of real number, this addition belongs to R. So here we are having this addition belongs to R. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now apply theorem 1.12.5. Okay, as this is the real number, so there exists an integer say m such that this real number is lying between m and m plus 1. Okay, so which function we are considering over here? Flooring or ceiling? Yes. You need to just check where we are having equality, on the left hand side or on the right hand side.
Least integer function.
So
Ceiling, sir.
this is not ceiling. Ceiling होता तो फिर right hand side में equality आती. This is our flooring function. Okay. Or let me go by that theorem itself. I think. See why we are having some confusion over here? Because see we are having two statements. First one is this m minus 1 is less than x is less than or is equals to m. Okay. So here what they are doing, they are just adding 1 throughout this equality. That's why you are having that confusion. Okay, so let me not tell you much about this. Right now, if you want to take it is flooring, then also it's fine. If you want to take it is as ceiling, then also it's fine. Is that okay? See, if I add 1 to it, then here I am having m less than 1 plus x less than or is equals to m plus 1. Okay, so in that case this becomes the ceiling function, because here we are having right hand side as an equality. So this is our greatest integer function less than or is equals to x. So this is flooring function. But as I told you, if you are in confusion, then please go through the definition of flooring and ceiling function. Okay, so here we are applying that result. So using this result, we are having this 1 plus nx, it's strictly less than m plus 1. Now you can cancel 1 from both the sides. Okay, so here we are having nx, which is strictly less than m. So what we can say about this number x? This number x is strictly less than m by n. Is it clear? Yes, is this clear? Okay. So you can see we have begin with x is less than y. Okay. Our aim is to show there exists the rational number in between these two real numbers. So हमें rational number तो मिल गया which is in the form of m by n. और हमने शो क्या किया, this rational number is bigger than x. Now what remains to prove is, if I show that this number m by n is strictly less than y, then we are done. Is the idea clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have done with our first part where we have shown this x is less than m by n. Now our aim is to show this number m by n is strictly less than y. Then only we can say that this number m by n is between x and y. And we know that the number which are in the form of m by n, or you can say in the form of p by q, then we are calling that number as the rational number. So let us try to prove that this number is strictly less than y. Okay, for that we are using this equation, that is ny is bigger than 1 plus nx. Okay, so ny is bigger than 1 plus nx, but what we know about 1 plus nx? Observe over here, 1 plus nx is bigger than or is equals to m. So we are applying that over here. So we are having ny is bigger than 1 plus nx, and this 1 plus nx is bigger than or is equals to m. So by merging this, we can say that ny is strictly less than m, strictly bigger than m. यहाँ तक क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now you just shift this n. Okay, so we are having this y is bigger than m by n. So now combining these two parts, this is one and this one is the second. Okay, so combine these two parts, we are having this number m by n is lying between x and y from 1 and 2. Give the reason, from 1 and 2. So clearly this m comma n belongs to integers, because you can see we have used theorem 1.12.5 where we have picked this number m from integers, and we have chosen this number n from natural numbers, and natural number is the subset of integer. Okay, so by combining this, we can say that these two numbers m by n belongs to integers where n is non-zero. Now why this n is non-zero? Can anyone tell me?
Denominator cannot be 0.
See, but we haven't said that this n is in the denominator. Okay, आप खाली यहाँ तक ऑब्जर्व करो, यहाँ तक हमें पता नहीं है ये n डिनोमिनेटर में रहेगा या न्यूमरेटर में रहेगा. So you can't say that this n is in the denominator, that's why n is non-zero. You need to give some different reason. So why n is non-zero?
सर अगर n 0 होगा तो स्टेटमेंट में 0 ग्रेटर देन 1 आ जाएगा, वो रॉन्ग.
हमने n कहाँ से पिक किया है?
नंबर.
नेचुरल नंबर. सो नेचुरल नंबर में कभी 0 आता है?
नो सर.
Hence we have shown that this n is non-zero. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see that see, whenever you need to prove any theorem, or if you are looking towards any theorem, then please be sure that your observation is very proper, because this is mathematics. We are not writing any arbitrary things anywhere on this page. Okay, see, we are doing we are writing each things in a proper steps. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम रैंडमली कहीं पर भी कुछ भी उठा के पुट कर रहे हैं. That's why this writing is known as mathematical writing. Okay, so that's why we are having this n is non-zero. So we can say that this m by n belongs to set of rationals. So let us call it as R. Thus, there exists a rational number R belongs to Q such that that rational number is lying between x and y, which completes the proof. Now please let me know, is the proof clear?
Yes, sir.
So please go through this proof once again at your home and let me know whether do you have any difficulties while understanding this proof or not in my next lecture. Okay, now the same arguments you are going to do for irrationals also. Okay, so let x comma y belongs to R be such that x is less than y. Then there exists the number. What you are going to say? This is the Greek alphabet. And what is the name of this alphabet? You might have used this notation in your junior college, at least in physics.
CHI.
CHI. Okay, psi. See, you might have seen this psi also. Okay, or I don't know, it is exactly what is psi or zeta. Okay, because see, these are the lower Greek letters. You will also having the capital Greek letters, but this is just the notation. Okay, so then there exists xi belongs to rational number. Okay, this is not chi, this is xi. Xi. Okay, so xi belongs to irrational numbers such that this xi is lying between x and y. In other words, between any two distinct real numbers, there exists an irrational number. Okay, the proof is same as the density theorem. So I am leaving this proof for your homework. The same argument you are going to follow. Okay, so I am leaving this proof for your homework. Please try to do it. Now next theorem is based on supremum, which we have already covered. So let us see the statement. Let S be a non-empty subset of R. Thus supremum of S is L if and only if for every natural number the real number L minus 1 by n is not an upper bound of S, but the number L plus 1 by n is an upper bound of S. So this is an equivalent definition of supremum. So you can relate this theorem which we have studied previously, and the statement of that theorem is nothing but S is the supremum of S is nothing but the number L if it's satisfying two conditions. First one is what? L is an upper bound. Okay, now I am writing in short. L is UP, which means an upper bound for S. Second condition is what? For every epsilon positive, Yes. Or you can say for every x belongs to set S, for every x belongs to set S, there exists epsilon positive such that x is lying between L minus epsilon to L. So if this set S is satisfying these two properties, then we can say that this number L is the supremum for the set S. Same definition you are going to apply in this theorem. Okay, उन्होंने एप्सिलॉन को क्या चूज किया है 1/n. Okay, so L minus 1/n is not an upper bound for S, because we will find at least 1x. Okay, so let me correct this definition. This is for every epsilon bigger than 0. Sorry for this mistake. This definition is for every epsilon bigger than 0, there exists x belongs to the set S such that this condition holds, and they are chosen this epsilon to be 1/n. So you just apply this definition and get that result. Okay, you can see उन्होंने epsilon को ही 1/n choose किया है. So they are saying L minus 1/n is not an upper bound of S. Okay, जो हमें इस definition से भी पता चलता है L minus epsilon is not an upper bound for S. But if I add 1/n to this supremum, that is L plus 1/n, see supremum is the least upper bound and I am adding a positive number in that supremum. So here we are getting one more upper bound for the set S. Okay, but this number is not a supremum. This is another upper bound for the set S. Here the supremum is the number L. This is the meaning of this statement. Is the statement clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you please read it. This is just the consequences of that previous theorem. Okay, you can see that the proof is little longer, but there is no need of do this proof. Okay, this is just the consequences of the theorem which we have already studied. And we have seen these examples also. Okay, show that if S is nothing but 1/n, where n belongs to natural number, then you need to show infimum of this set S is 0, which we have already tackled. Yes or no? If you remember, then we have listed the elements of this set. Okay, that is first element is 1, second element is 1/2, third element is 1/3, and so on so forth. If I pick this n to be very large, then you will find that these are moving closer and closer towards 0. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
So this we have already done. If you forget it, then please visit to those videos where we have concluded that infimum of this set S is 0 using this argument. Here is an equivalent proof of this example using Archimedean property. Okay, so I am not going to do this proof again. You please read it by yourself, where you are crucially using this Archimedean property for concluding the infimum of the set S is 0. this kind of examples also we have done. Okay, show that if S is an open interval, then you need to prove infimum of the set S is this lower limit of this interval, and supremum of this set S is this upper limit of this interval. We have already covered many examples based on this. Is it or not?
Yes.
Okay, so again I am not wasting my time in this. So you please read this by proof yourself. Again you will find that the proof is little longer. But actually there is no need of such kind of arguments. But if you want to know how we are going to write down all such step in a more mathematical format, then you please visit this proof. Okay, because in exams we don't have so much time to write down all such things. This is for your understanding purpose. Okay, I have explained already geometrically where this supremum is lying and where this infimum is lying for such intervals. This is just the theoretical way of writing, which I am avoiding now. Okay, then show that for x belongs to R, if x is less than 1 by n for every natural number n, then x has to be less than or is equals to 0. Okay, so you please go through this example. Okay, now why I'm becoming so fast over here? As you can see, this is just the 3-line proofs. So let me take it, because I need to cover this unit today itself. See, density theorem is our last theorem for this unit. Now these are some more examples for your understanding purpose. So what I am going to suggest is you please go through all these examples by your own, so that you will have a better understanding of this subject. And if you won't understand it, then I am already there to help you. You just contact with me. Okay, so let me take this proof, or you can say solution for this example. See what is given to us. X belongs to real number and x is less than 1 by n for every natural number. This is given to us, and our aim is to prove this x is less than or is equals to 0. So this is given to us, that is x is less than 1 by n for all n belongs to naturals. Our aim is to show this x is less than or is equals to 0. ओके, सो अब अगर हमारे दिमाग में कुछ नहीं आ रहा होगा, हम कैसे इसे प्रूव करेंगे? तो इसका हम उल्टा अज्यूम कर लेते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, if possible x is bigger than 0. Okay, means what? We are assuming something wrong, so at the end we will get some contradiction. Okay, so you will find this trick in many examples or in many theorems. ओके, जब भी हमें कुछ दिमाग में नहीं आएगा, हम इसका उल्टा अज्यूम करेंगे और देखेंगे एट द एंड वी विल गेट सम कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन और नॉट. So if possible x is bigger than 0, then we can say that 1 by x is also bigger than 0. So if this 1 by x is bigger than 0 and which is a real number, so by Archimedean property there exists the natural number, say n naught, which is bigger than this real number. Okay, so this n naught is just the notation. If you want, you can write n also. Okay, so by shifting, we are having 1 by n naught is less than x. Which means what? We are getting one n naught, that is one natural number, such that 1 by x is, such that 1 by n is less than x. for one natural number, but according to our statement, we are having x is less than 1 by n for all natural number, and here we are getting one natural number such that 1 by n is less than x. So this is the contradiction. So this is the contradiction to our assumption. Hence, x cannot be greater than 0. So if this is not true, then what is true? X has to be less than or is equals to 0. Is it clear? Am I going very fast? Yes, is this clear to you? और सर के ऊपर से गया? At least reply.
थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ।
ओके तो आप खुद से एक बार ट्राई करो। सी इसमें कुछ नहीं है, आपको खाली आर्किमिडियन प्रॉपर्टी यूज करनी है। ओके ओके नाउ आई एम लिविंग द रेस्ट ऑफ द एग्जांपल्स फॉर योर होमवर्क। Let us try to answer these 3 questions. Find, do you have your next lecture now? Or is it free?
सर 12:18 को लेक्चर है एफसी का।
Okay. So let me quickly take it. Or will you do it? See, we have already solved some example based on infimum and supremum. So what I can do is, I will give you these examples in your practical so that at least you can think of it. If you won't get it, then we will take or we will engage one lecture for these examples. Okay? Because at any cost, I need to begin with my second unit in my next lecture. ओके आप एक बार खुद से ट्राई करो और देखो कि आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा। ओके बिकॉज सच काइंड ऑफ एग्जांपल्स आई विल गिव यू इन योर प्रैक्टिकल्स। okay you can see everywhere they are using this property. So पहले आपके दिमाग में आना चाहिए कि आप आर्किमिडियन प्रॉपर्टी अच्छे से समझो और इसे अप्लाई कैसे करना है वो भी समझो। And for your competitive exams, this is the shortcut way to find out the infimum and supremum. Okay? मीन्स व्हाट, आप खाली इस सेट के एलिमेंट्स लिस्ट करके देखो और ऑब्जर्व करो कि वो कहाँ पे जा रहे हैं। ओके दिस वी विल स्टडी इन डिटेल्स इन आवर सेकेंड यूनिट. These are called as sequences. So where the tail of this sequence is going, that is the idea behind this. ओके सो जैसे हम सीक्वेंस पढ़ेंगे तो ये आप ज़्यादा अच्छे से आंसर कर पाओगे. बट फॉर जब तक हम सेकेंड यूनिट स्टार्ट नहीं करते तब तक आप ये आर्ग्यूमेंट समझो. इस आर्ग्यूमेंट से हम प्रूव कैसे करेंगे व्हाट इज द सुप्रीमम एंड व्हाट इज द इंफीमम. See, once you have studied sequences, then this is a 2 minutes work. Okay, so you please go through these examples by your own. और अगर फिर भी समझ में नहीं आता है तो एक पेपर पे आप लिख के रखना कि कौन से एग्जाम्पल्स में आपको डाउट है. फिर जब हम एक प्रैक्टिकल सेशन कंडक्ट करेंगे उस प्रैक्टिकल सेशन में हम आपके सारे डाउट्स सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करेंगे, मैक्सिमम जितने सॉल्व कर पाए. Okay, and here are some exercises for your homework. Okay, what is my suggestion? You don't go for this exercise. You just try to understand these solved examples. ओके अगर ये सॉल्व एग्जाम्पल से आपको समझ में आ गए तो फिर आप इस एक्सरसाइज में से कोई भी एक्सरसाइज पिक करो, आप उसे आराम से सॉल्व कर सकते हो. ओके so these are some exercises for your homework. So here we have completed our unit number 1. Okay, so from my next lecture onwards, we are going to begin with our second unit, which is based on sequences. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and sorry for this because I am in little hurry for completing this unit. See, remember, because I don't know now when university is going to say that we are going to conducting your exams. So before your exams, I need to cover up my entire syllabus. So I am expecting some work from your side also. Okay, so please sorry for that. Okay, so let me stop this lecture here. Wait a minute, let me stop the recording.